Governor Greg Abbott has now made his first appointment for any open bench here in Harris County. No surprise to our friend, Judge Debra Ibarra Mayfield. I want to tell you a little bit about Debra. And by the way, I have been granted leave for today to call her Debra because I have known Debra since before she was a judge, before she was a lawyer, and before she was a Mayfield. Don't worry, Eric, it's all good. And she's family to me and many of us here. And when we see an appointment like this, and we've worked so hard in the bar to support efforts of diversity and hard-working, good people get on the bench. And you know what I mean, Justice Eva Guzman, we talk about diversity on the bench, and David Medina, we worked so hard on those principles. This is a historic day. But for many of us who've known Debra a long time, this historic occasion was really not a total surprise. My first encounter with Debra was during a case I had. I was lead counsel for South Texas College of Law. They had a battle with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. Some of you may remember that. We were in the media every other day about that case. We had a major hearing in front of the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. And we decided, our trial team decided, and I decided, you know, we need a really good witness, a student witness, to make our case and to talk about the benefits of that affiliation. So I talked to the dean, I talked to the general counsel, and I said, can you help us find a student in South Texas who's smart, articulate, personable, someone that the coordinating board would like? And I knew they didn't like anybody. They certainly didn't like anyone on our team. They didn't even like themselves. And so that was a tall order. And the dean said, let me see what I can do. He searched and searched, and I figured he just would give up on the search. And he got back to me and says, Roland, we found a student. She's awesome. You're going to love her. I said, well, I'm looking forward to meeting this student. He introduced me to a young Debra Ibarra. We met, talked about the case, started preparing her, going through her testimony, and then she said, well, but shouldn't I say this? And what about that? And I was thinking, wow, she's good. She's going to be a good lawyer. She's going to be a good witness. She's going to be a good judge. I knew it then. And yes, she testified that day. And yes, the coordinating board loved her. And yes, she was awesome. I was so impressed with her that we stayed in touch. We'd check up on her when she was in law school. How's your career going? Mentoring her. She graduated from South Texas College of Law. Joined a mid-sized firm, distinguished firm, quickly dug into her new profession, established herself as a skilled, high reputation as a great trial lawyer and appellate lawyer all across the state, trying cases, handling appeals. So it was no surprise that she then started getting involved in the community, focusing on juveniles, students and children, schools, youth, giving back, distinguishing herself again in her firm, earning leadership ranks in the bar, and, yes, becoming president, working up the ranks to the Mexican-American Bar Association of Houston, when, of course, she distinguished herself as one of the finest presidents in the history of that organization. She then got married to Eric Mayfield, former officer in the United States Army. And as a former Marine, Eric, we thank you for your service to our country. Judge Mayfield worked hard, distinguished herself in her profession, devoted mother, wife, 2 young, beautiful children who were here. And then, of course, it was no surprise that a few years later, my friend Judge Cagle got appointed to the Commissioner's Court. So that left his bench open. Now, Commissioner Jack Mormon, it was his appointment to select the person to nominate for that bench. You all may remember that. He went on a search, looking for the best, the brightest, the smartest, articulate, all those things. All roads led to one person, Debra Ibarra Mayfield. But he wanted to make sure he had the support of his fellow commissioners. He went